My name is Chris Rios. I was born in Sacramento, California, and I've been living here in Reno, Nevada for 8 years now. So in school, I was pretty athletic. My grandparents put me in athletics from a very young age. From the time I can remember, I was in basketball, I was doing track, I was doing football, and then on the side, me and my friends would be fighting typically like in the bathrooms and stuff, especially during middle school. But my whole life has been very, very athletic, and I wouldn't say that I was a bully by any means, but I definitely enjoyed fighting. I definitely enjoyed the aggressiveness of fighting and everything that entails. We never had the financial ability to put, my grandparents didn't have the money to put me in like karate or martial arts when I was younger. So it was kind of just like something that me and my friends did for fun. I did wrestling all throughout high school, and I wanted to follow the lead of my grandfather too. It was something that we can connect on because he did wrestling when he was in high school for a few years as well. So it was pretty cool for him to come and watch me practice and compete and all that, and he would give me pointers and clean up my technique and whatnot. So that was a really good bonding experience. As far as my upbringing, I grew up with my grandparents. They took custody over me and my siblings at a very young age. I was about 7 years old when I fully started living with them, and then my life really started to get more balanced when I started living with them. It was a little chaotic in the first several years of my life. Very interesting upbringing, kind of chaotic. So my grandparents had to step in, and it was huge for me and my siblings. You know, it was the first time where we had peace, where we had balance, and they gave us a sanctuary to be in, where every time you walked through the door, you knew what you were going to get. It was going to be, food on the table. You were going to be welcomed by loving parents, and they put me in counseling at a very young age to help with some of my own mental stability, and they were very, very protective of me and my siblings. Like I said, they always had me on into some type of sporting events. My grandmother, my grandfather would always participate in schooling events. They were always there at every single competition. Whenever I was competing, they were always there on the sidelines. I could look over and they were always cheering me on and stuff. And even to this day, they've never missed a match, a jiu-jitsu event, an MMA event, even though it damn near gives my grandma a heart attack. They never missed anything. So I knew how to throw a jab, cross, hook, and like a low kick, like somewhat. I was walking to my dorm, and some guys were throwing eggs at me. And I won't say exactly like what team it was, but it was a group of UNR athletic guys. And there were some big dudes. I went up to approach them, and one guy wanted to fight me. I think they'd been drinking or whatever. And I was pissed off because I had eggs on my clothes because they were egging me or whatever. So then the dude stepped out, and I took off my chain that I was wearing. I put down my backpack. And I mean, he was a big dude, and I was trying some Anderson Silva shit that I just watched, and I remember taking him down when he ran at me. I gave him a few knees when we were in the clinch as he was trying to like climb up the wall. I remember hitting him with a knee near his mouth, and for the most part, since he was so big, I remember like, don't throw hands with this guy too much, chop down his legs. And I must have kicked him like 20 times, and I didn't really know how to aim with my shin too much. So my foot, I thought I snapped my ankle off after it was done, so I had my friend take me to the ER. Everything was fine, but we shook hands afterwards and, handled that like two grown men. Getting to the weigh-ins, I remember seeing my opponent there, and I'm like, it feels like an adrenaline rush, you're about to fight this dude. And it was weird because I was filling out my paperwork and he was right here, And he's like, oh, hey, I'm your opponent. And I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm Chris. And we're just like talking, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if this is supposed to go like that. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to talk to your friends or be friendly with them. I thought you kind of had to be like, you know, like a hard ass or, you know, a douchebag to them or be super mean. And I don't know, maybe there's a part of that, but it felt like just kind of whatever, you know, we're both like kind of out of it. We're both starving, and it felt like a very human experience. That's how I can explain it. I walk in the cage. I say a little chant before in my head, protect me, protect my opponent. Get down on like low, crouch down, and then I walk in the stage. I do a lap and get ready for business. And this guy, he came out so fast. Like, we touched gloves. The ref said, are you ready? Are you ready? We touched gloves. And he came out so fast. It was like we were moving, and then it was a wrestling shot. He missed the first one, and then he got me into a body lock and did a hip toss. And I usually get caught on those, but I did a lot of work to to stop those for defense. And he threw me down on my back. He ended up on top position in my guard. And this was the defining moment that really, like, it was my breakthrough for fighting in mixed martial arts. I was in bottom position for well over a minute. Like, I was protecting myself. I was keeping him down. He landed a few shots. I was breaking his posture. And it's just interesting because you're confronted with that question, like, do you want to be in this fight? Like, do you want to check out? Because in a second, you can let the person go and just, you know, 3 unanswered shots and you're out. Like, you can find a way out. You could find a way to lose, or you could find a way to win. And I wanted to win that match. So when I found an opportunity, I let him posture up. I got my feet on his hips and I kicked out, and I turned my back, which I probably shouldn't have done, and ran out. And then right when I turned, he was in my face, and I threw the hardest 2 of my life. I threw a really hard rear hand, and I wrapped him up into the Muay Thai clench, double collar tie. And I must have thrown like over 10 knees to his legs, knees to his body, bang, 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 bang. And I think after like the 12th knee, he just crumbled. He just went down. I got into side control, and I did some ground and pound, and he turned into me hard, and I wrapped up the DARS, and it was just over from there. I started sitting out. I wrapped him up, turned into a mount position. He tapped, and that was my 3rd victory. So with the fight being so close, only a few weeks away now, there is a lot of things that come up just emotional wise. You just kind of feel sometimes ungrounded, a little bit scattered. And there is fear around that. There is like some, you know, anxiousness. I mean, you're forcing yourself in a fight state of mind, and like a physical fight, you know, there's going to be that side to it. So with that being said, I feel like it's really important to have set things in place where it's not just training, but it's like your recovery side is so strong, and it helps balance out all of those chaotic emotions, those chaotic feelings. And it's something that you could tap into, or after you're done with it, it's an immediate difference. Like if you were like, you know, all over the place before, you hit a session, let's just say I get a massage or something like that, I immediately feel more calm afterwards. And it's important that I constantly come back to that and tap into it, because it helps the breakdown from training of my body, and it gives me that build up. So it's a nice balance there, you know, it helps ground me mentally. With that being said, it's all focusing on training from here on out. It's like you want to surround yourself with the generals in your team, your coaches, and the soldiers, and nothing else matters. Like going out, like hanging out with friends, all that stuff, like really several weeks out for me, that gets put on the hold until the event is over, essentially. I think it needs to be that way. So discipline and like going to sleep early, waking up early, and just grinding it out, training 2 days, 3 days, having your recovery in there, and sticking to that, sticking with your team, and just making sure that everything is as calm as possible. A lot of people ask me like, are you excited for this? Are you excited? And I think it's important not to attach your mind to being excited or to even being like fearful or whatever. It's just calm. I think like calm is what my goal is for these next few weeks. So this fight is my 6th MMA fight. Now, I say MMA fight because this last whole year, 2-3 years, I've been doing Muay Thai fights, tournaments, sparring tournaments, anything to stay sharp, to sharpen my teeth. And I must have done 13, 14 of those sparring matches, along with a handful of Muay Thai fights. And I say that because during COVID and during the shutdown, when me and my team had all the excuses in the world to not train, to not compete, we were grinding. We were sneaking around, trying to find any gym that was open and getting those rounds in. We were flying out to places to get competition in, because in all reality, competition is something that you need to stay active in, really, like to stay sharp and to stay mentally ready. And anybody that's been off for 2-3 years, that's going to be a hell of a night for anybody. 5 rounds is a very long time. My last match was a 5-round match, and in those last 2 rounds, that they will make or break you. And for me, when I think about my game, I'm a martial artist first, and then I'm a fighter. But when it comes to fighting, I do everything very well rounded. My takedowns are good, my wall wrestling is good. I work with the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the area. And I see this fight being a beautiful display of violence. It's going to be chaotic, but it's going to be controlled, and it's going to be exciting for everybody there. If you're watching this and you're in the crowd, you're probably going to be on your feet, or if you're not on your feet, find a good seat for this one, because it's going to be fireworks. Yeah, we're coming out there, and we're gonna let those guns fire, and we're gonna see what happens.